And good Tuesday morning. My name is Ryan Belmore. I'm the owner and publisher of What's Up Noop. And Mr. Frank Prosnitz joins me. Hey, Frank.
Hey, Ryan. How are you?
Good. Happy Thanksgiving week.
To you as well.
And we have moved away from politics. We keep.
Oh my God! Thank God.
Yes. Even though they still continue somehow, but we're attempting to move away here. And we are having conversations. We're going to keep our series going. We've had a couple since the general election. We're going to keep our conversations going with people out there in and around Rhode Island and catch up on what they are up to. And you have brought us some very special guests today.
People who make a difference. Cardi's is an incredible story in Rhode Island. How they grew up from a small furniture store in Cranston to probably being one of the leading furniture stores in the country. But one of the things that they have that I've always admired is this incredible sense of community and of giving back. And Pete and Ron are with us this morning. We're going to talk about some of those things, and we're going to talk about where this attitude came from, why it's so important to give back to the community. It's and some of the incredible activities that they are involved with during this holiday season. Pete and Ron, how you doing?
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
How are
we
you?
thought we were running for office. You dropped the political. We could have we could have been a contender.
I'll leave. I'll leave now.
Yeah.
Well, we could do an armchair quarterback or armchair office if we want to.
No, that's okay.
No, we'll stay away.
Hey, so
from
Ron,
politics.
Ron, I've got this question. Pete is dressed for the occasion. What happened?
Well, it's budget. So what happens? He's got all the money, so he buys all the flashy clothes. I'm the pauper. So I use the same clothes. I'll wear the same shirt 3 days in a row. So then I'll wash it. I'll wear a T-shirt. Then I come back with the same shirt again.
There you go.
Ron and Pete have made me look good on the road show more than once when we've appeared on there. I'm wondering if we could stay with the sweater for a minute here. You see all the commercials, and you're always joking about sweaters. And I wonder if you could share that story about why sweaters are often in your commercials and with the people, with the public, in case they haven't heard it before.
Well, Ron and I were doing a Florida commercial about 2 years ago, pre-COVID, I think. And we were giving away at the time, like flights to Florida, whatever it was. And part of it was, the shtick of it was, Ron was packing his clothes, and he had the suntan oil, the glasses, the hat, all the things you want to do in Florida. And Pete walked in with a stack of sweaters. Now, the thing with Pete, although we never really talked about it, is I wear sweaters year round. So we're just trying to play off that a little bit. And we thought there would be, the left and right of it, the yin and the yang, whatever you want to call it, is that here's one person packing for Florida, getting ready for the sun and the fun. Another person showing up, in 90-degree weather. He's going to go down there with sweaters. What the heck's wrong with him? So we did that, and it just kind of took off. So I think Ron's line was, what are you doing with those? And Pete said something like, they're summer sweaters or they're Florida sweaters or whatever. And it worked, and customers were talking about it. So like anything else, when we show a great product on the floor, or if we're doing something with an ad, as to get the public to get involved with your communications is a huge thing. And because they were doing that, so we just kept running with it.
Speaking of Florida, while Frank tames his caller ID, we have a mutual friend from way back when who I believe recorded a song for you, who lived in Florida for a while, Billy Jolly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did a lot of work for us many moons ago, and great guy. And that goes back a few years.
Yeah, it's terrible that we lost him at such a young age. He worked with Steve Bedessa. And Steve is still obviously with us and does some great work for us still, and has actually played at a couple of our company events over the years. And but Billy was wonderful. The typical, when you say one-man band, it was amazing. He moved to Florida. It was funny because he would do gigs up here in Rhode Island, and he'd say, "Gee, I'd have to do a corporate gig or a show and have to play till 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning." He goes, "Go to Florida." He goes, 7 o'clock, we're done.
Yeah.
And he goes, "I'm making the same money or more, having a lot of fun, great crews that a great public that are there, witnessing the, get involved with the music. but done at an early time, which is nice.
I talk to his son Matty all the time, who now lives down in Florida. So I'll send along the best to you guys.
Please do. Wonderful family.
And Pete and Ron, can just before we get into the various activities, can you give a little bit of history of Cardi's, how it all began, and the incredible growth that you guys have gone through?
Well, it started in 1928 as a general store in the Knightsville section of Cranston. So our grandmother started the company, and it was interesting because our grandfather was in the sand and gravel business, offshoot cousins of Cardi Corporation, the construction, just second cousins. In any event, she kept a general store that evolved into hardware and appliances and carpeting over the years. And then eventually got into furniture. Our parents are very friendly with a family called the Rose family out of East Providence, and they owned a furniture store in East Providence called Rose Furniture. And at that time, they were friends with our parents. They used to have lunch every week together, if I remember it correctly. But anyway, the long and the short of the story is that the furniture company expanded. We ultimately got rid of appliances I think it was the early 70s, if I remember correctly. And then we pretty much, tried to stay with furniture, and from there it grew a little bit.
Will it be 100 years in 2028 then? Will that be the celebration?
Correct.
Wow, that is.
We're in generation number 3, so.
Yeah, that's very exciting. Have you already started planning for the big celebration?
Oh, we're always planning for a celebration, so we don't need to have any milestones to celebrate. So we're always ready to celebrate. Not an issue.
Could you tell us a little bit about why it's so important to give back to the community, and why that has become really something that you've been a leader of all companies that I've seen in this area in doing that?
No, it's nice of you to say, Frank. We try to do what we think most people do and want to do. Some do it quietly, some not. And some of what the public sees is the public stuff, but we also do a lot of stuff behind the scenes. It's really just how you're brought up. And we're very fortunate. We have wonderful parents and grandparents and family. And the whole premise was when you go through life, you can help your neighbor, and then your neighbor can help you. We all need help, whether it's, physical help, psychological help, monetary help. And our aunt always told a story: if you go through life with your hand clenched tight, meaning try to hold on to everything you've got, no one can put anything in your hand and no one can take anything out. But if you go through life with your hand open, and people can put things in, people can take things out. So it's a simple metaphor, if you will, to helping each other. And if everybody does a little bit, then the world is a better place. We just had a huge drive that we did. Unfortunately, it had to be done, but our team did a fabulous job, and it was led by Larissa, that runs our studio, and for the Ukraine drive for relief. It was amazing that the whole world, in our universe, came together. Over 18 containers were sent to a war zone, basically, on the other side of the world, and a lot of money was raised. So when the need is there, the public is very generous. So it's nice that you call us out. We appreciate that. But really, we think everyone is generous given the right opportunity, and just to help others. And really, in this case, helping most people you'd never, ever meet.
Yeah, and the other companies really that there was a lot of people that helped, so I'll probably miss some. But, Oppen Van Lines, international company, did a lot of, obviously got that stuff, logistically got this stuff moved. The other folks, Ocean State Job Lot, does a phenomenal amount of work. So, there's some Rhode Island-based companies and Rhodey Transportation Company, and we can go on and on. There's more that I'm sure I'm missing, but I'm sure Peter will remind me. But the point is that they do great work, and it's kind of the old stuff that goes back to, as Peter said, being brought up, and our parents used to have a lot of what we used to consider corny phrases, which have become very common now. But one pair of pants at a time, one half a loaf is better than nothing, and the basics of respect. So it's going back several generations and old school. And that's something that if we think we can just instill a little bit of that going forward, then we've done our job.
I'm an old business editor, and one of the things that I used to write about a lot was about the benefits that companies get back from giving to the community, because they engender a lot of loyalty from their customers.
Mm-hmm. True. It's a byproduct of that, but, and I'm sure, Frank, you ran into this when you did the stories, unless it's genuine, then I don't think it's going to come back to the company. So we've been fortunate. We run into people all the time that worked on various things going back to 9/11 and even before that, different events that we've done over the years. Toys for Tots is probably the longest running thing. I think Dad started it, 45 years ago when we were doing it. Toys for Tots, I think, is in their 75th year this year. But our dad started it many, many moons ago, and we didn't even know what the heck it was. And we're putting out these boxes at Christmas. He said, "Okay, boys, put these boxes over here." We said, "What the heck is this, Dad?" And he goes, and he explained the story of Toys for Tots. And so in starting with that was really one of the starting things of a drawing of donations from the public to help many in the community that we were exposed to, on a bigger scale. And even though it was very small at the time when it started, it's grown into a very massive thing now.
Toys for Tots you do in each of the stores?
Correct. So we draw from all the stores, and we've been working with the United States Marines. Obviously, they do a fabulous job not only defending our country, as do all branches of the service, but it's pretty unique because a lot of the team members from the Marines are, I don't know what the right term is. I'm not a military person myself, but they are positioned only here for that, and then they move on to other areas. So they'll come here, do a 2-month, 3-month stint, in our market, and then they move on to other activities. So it's an interesting process when you really get behind the scenes of all the moving parts. But we've been fortunate to be involved with it and help with a lot of the logistics, moving all these toys around the community.
What initiatives do you have coming up over, it's a busy time with the holidays. Anything that you want to point people to over Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Hanukkah and the other holidays?
Well, you start with Toys for Tots, as Pete said, and that's the big push right now. So we'll continue with Toys for Tots. And, of course, we're involved with a bunch of stuff. So whether it be a Christmas Carol with the events downstairs at Trinity or the Gamm Theater, so that you get these variety of nonprofits, the Stadium Theater in Woonsocket. So we'll jump around from, let's say, the toy event, which is very important to us, to the arts and the theater and that type of thing. You get up into January and February, we'll start working with Meeting Street School. Actually, it started now already, actually, but they'll have their annual event. So there's a few different things that kind of intertwine. So whether we're involved with them, be it on a billboard or be it in person, there'll be several things. And Peter, I'm not sure if you've got a few more there.
Well, the zoo is an interesting process. You talk about reinventing yourself, and Frank mentioning about business opportunities. So really today it's a blur between what's happening in the private sector, what's happening in the public sector, what's happening in the nonprofits. So the zoo is a wonderful example. They do, it's amazing. They do work behind the scenes where they bring in animals from all over the country. They have a wonderful, I don't know if the right term is veterinarian, but they have a hospital there where they work with animals that are typically in a zoo environment and where they have to help them. And no differently than if you were going yourself to a hospital to get work done. And so they bring in they do all this work behind the scenes. But aside from that, pre-COVID, they didn't have a lot of events at night. The biggest one was the Jack-o'-lanterns, which was huge. Largest fundraiser they do. And I think they get like about 120,000 people through, which is a lot of people to watch that. But then when COVID hit, they decided to do some other events. They did the Jack-o'-lanterns as a drive-through, but then also started holiday lights. And now that's back. So we just finished pumpkins, and now we're into holiday lights with the zoo. Stacy Johnson, who just started with the zoo a little while ago, does a fabulous job. And aside from that, then they have several events at night to help fund the zoo, because the zoo is a wonderful environment. But as you know, it's not just the ticket price that pays for all the things that need to be done to run the zoo. No differently than a theater no differently than, say, Edaville Railroad or any of these local groups that do so much for the community, but they still got to, obviously, we all have to pay the light, heat, and electric bill.
You know, one of the ones I wanted to touch on and learn a little bit more about is this holiday cards by Meeting Street. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, they have a program where they sell these cards and they use it to raise money. And it's underwritten, I believe, by Blue Cross,
Yeah.
who pays for the stock and printing and what have you. And the kids at the school develop a design on the cards, and they turn around and they sell them as Christmas cards, obviously now for the holidays. And they use it as a fundraiser and also as a child development process where they learn how to do stuff and become productive tax-paying members of society. So they do a lot of good with it, and at the same time help cultivate and develop people's brains and work ethic. But that card program helps raise quite a bit of money.
Do you know how people can get those cards? Do they go online to Meeting Street?
Yeah, meetingstreet.org. So it's just meetingstreet.org. So meetingstreet.org. Go right there, and on the page it'll have charitable events and holiday cards. You can click on one or the other, and you can order them right online. We ordered ours and got them, and we're using them this holiday season. We've been using them for years. They're beautiful cards, really done well. And the beautiful part is that, as Ron said, Blue Cross underwrites 100% of it. So they do a great job in providing that. So all the money goes to Meeting Street. So 100% of what you pay for the card helps the kids.
If people want to know some of the other activities, is there a website they can go to?
For Meeting Street, meetingstreet.org. For Cardi's, we have a community calendar at cardis.com. So we try to keep a running list. It's kind of like an old-fashioned, it starts and it stops. So, meaning for year end. So hopefully if you go on there now, and if we're doing our job, that, you get the jack-o'-lanterns plugged in there for next year too, because it seems like, and I don't know, Frank, and I don't know, Ryan, if you guys are running into this too, that the years go by really fast. And
yeah, they do.
you got to kind of plan. And so we're looking at stuff not only on a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis, but annually and even down the road, trying to plan stuff to work it into the schedule. So on that calendar, we try to do that with all the different groups. We've got some groups even in the Westerly area that we work with, the Warming Center and some other organizations, Johnny Cake and what have you, that do things year round. So you may not hear about it, like a jack-o'-lantern or a holiday lights, but there's other things happening. So we try to keep those plugged in as much as we can so everyone's aware of them.
A quick programming note, holiday lights, for those who might listen to this. It is November 25th through January 1st. So it opens this Friday over at the Roger Williams Park Zoo, and open nightly except for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So a great event over there at the zoo. It is Thanksgiving week. Just turn to business for a minute. Black Friday. I'm sure Black Friday has changed in many ways since 1928, and now you're competing with online. But it still isn't convenient to buy a couch online or bed or whatever it may be. What are you looking forward to, and how much are you putting your hat on Black Friday?
Well, we're very fortunate. We've been fairly busy all along. Black Friday is an important retail day, but from a perspective of product availability, we've got a lot in stock. We've been blessed with not really dealing with too much of a supply chain issue. There is one to some degree with some products, but for the most part, we've been mainstream. We're in pretty good shape. As far as Black Friday itself is concerned, we're going to be open 8:55 Black Friday morning. We're looking forward to a nice, healthy day. It normally is. We'll be really busy, but we're busy now. So we try to tell people, we're in the stores this past weekend, and we have 100% price guarantee. Not to get too retail-y here, but I'll say it anyway, is that I tell them, why would you want to wait in that line or do that type of thing? Come in now, buy it. We have 100% price guarantee. It's in writing if you don't trust us, and we hand it to them, or it's online. And that if we do something stupid on Friday and the price gets lower than you'll get it back. So it's as simple as that. We try not to make it too complicated. Maybe we've oversimplified it. We really don't. I mean, we hype some stuff, but we don't take it to the degree that some companies take it and make it, I don't know, too ridiculous. We're a one-price house. We try to put the right price on it the first time, and we have a lot of specials, and we try to buy the things that people want and do the right promotions for what they're looking for. But we want to make sure we're telling them the truth and our people are telling them the truth. That's the most important thing to us.
One of
So
the
here's a quick testimony. You heard the phone ringing earlier. That was Cardi's calling me. So I had something I needed to take care of through customer service. I will tell you, they were courteous. They were quick. Got it resolved within a very short time, and I was very impressed.
Look at that.
That's what it's all about, because, Ryan just kind of alluded to it. Gee, you got to buy a sofa. You really got to try it out. But the other thing is, today, yes, you can buy things anywhere. You can buy a lot of this stuff online. But who are you going to call when something goes wrong? And, we want to buy from people locally. We want to buy from people that if something happens, they're going to take care of it. And that's what we try to do with our customer service, is that to make sure that the customer not only, number one, enjoys the product, but number two, the bigger thing is, yes, we're in business. We want them to come back and refer their circle of friends and family to us too. And hopefully that is what resonates, as Frank said. If something happens and someone's willing to call and respond, that's huge. That's huge.
It is
one of the reasons to go in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. If you visit Cardis.com, you'll see that there are free photos with Santa coming up. And, November 25th in South Attleboro, November 26th in West Warwick, November 27th in Swansea, December 3rd in South Attleboro, December 4th in West Warwick, and December 10th in Swansea. You can get all the times and hours and all of that good stuff. I didn't expect you guys to rattle that off the top of your heads, but Cardis.com, free photos with Santa. That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, that's key, because, they can get very expensive. And so it's a nice way to have people be able to afford the holiday and not blow their brains out with spending on that picture. So it's they get, I think, the electronic version of it, right?
Yeah. So I will send them the electronic version. So Santa's here, and it is, there's a lot of Santa's helpers out there, and they do wonderful work, but we have Santa.
You got the real guy.
And if you've been on the nice list, you'll get a wonderful picture with Santa. Blue Flash Photography does a fabulous job. They're here every year with Santa, and the dates that Ryan mentioned are there. That's on our website too, Cardis.com. It's a free photo. It's a very easy in and out. And we also do well-behaved pets. So as long as you got a really good, well-behaved pet, you can bring them too and take the picture. You'll get a printout of it, a color printout while you're here, and then it's free. And then also, if you give us your email, we will email you the digital gobbledygook, so you can have that too, and then produce as many as you want.
Excellent. Sounds like a good deal. Frank, what else you got?
I think we're fine. I think this is great. I think, again, my hat's off. I'm not taking this one off. To Cardi's and to both of you guys for carrying on an incredible business over the years, and for always having in top of mind what you can do back for the community, and that's can't ask for more than that.
Thank you very much. You're very kind.
Thank you.
And it's a good reminder here, and I'm just trying to get the address, but you still have, well, you can visit Cardis.com and you can find a full list of locations. But there it is, Cardi's Furniture and Mattress over in Middletown, 1199 West Main Road. For those who don't like to leave the island, reminder,
Understood.
Big
you do not
bridges.
have to leave the island.
Yeah, Bob and Marlene are there. They do a fabulous job. So stop in, say hello, and yes, you can drop your toys off there too, and do a great service.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Ron and Pete, and we wish you the very best of holidays. And
Have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you for all you do for Rhode Island residents as well as Massachusetts, Southern New England.
It's our honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that is Ron and Pete Cardi, and we appreciate them joining us today. And Cardis.com, you can find out a little bit of everything that we talked about, Frank.
Yeah, terrific company, and and I just love the way they give back to the community. Just a real clarification: when I called their customer service, it was not a problem that I had. It was just something I need clarification on.
There you go. You weren't sure how to sleep on the bed?
I was just wondering when Santa was showing up.
Okay. There was many ways I could go there, and
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure what my tongue was going to slip out there, but I got it. All right, Mr. Prosence. Well,
Good deal. Thank you, Ryan.
thank you. And we want to thank the Cardi brothers for joining us again. Cardis.com for everything we talked about. And then that Holiday Lights Spectacular. We have rwpzoo.org. We'll bring you to Holiday Lights Spectacular at Roger Williams Park Zoo. Cardis.com. Community calendar at Cardis.com. Thanks for watching.